Yo everyone, Starter Protagonist is here. If you hear any thunderstorms in the background, that's because it is raining bad where I'm at, but not to the whole degree of, power outage and shit. It's just a normal thunderstorm, so yeah, my apologies on that. But let's get into today's video. I usually don't cover drama or controversies on VAs or content creators. The only time I've actually done that was on an artist named Spleeny. If you want to know the story behind that artist, link to the video in the top right corner. But this recent controversy has been getting out of hand to the point where I had to talk about it. But before we get into what's been going on, we got to get a bit of context in the situation. If you want to see more videos like this and want to become part of the Star Nation, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications on. Also, let me know in the comments if you would like me to cover the V-Shoujo scandal, seeing that it's been a hot topic in the past few days. Plus, I enjoy watching VTuber content since the majority of VTubers do play video games on stream. Plus, I did reference VTubers in some of my videos before. So let me know if you guys and gals would like me to talk about it. But with that being said, let's get on with the show. So a year later, a group named SAG-AFTRA began a strike against video game companies. One of them happened to be MiHoYo, or Hoyoverse, whichever you wants to call, the developers of Genshin Impact, Honkai Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and of course, Zenless Zone Zero, which will be the main focus on the video. Also, side note, I got a video in the works surrounding the summer event in ZZZ. It should be out next week, so look out for that. I won't get too much into the details, but basically they were advocating for AI protection, which turned out to be a lie. Then this year, the strike was suspended and pretty much everything went peaceful again. So what does this have to do with the recent controversy? Well, because of this ongoing strike at the time, many VAs simply refused to do their job. And as a result, some of the characters in Hoyoverse's games were left with no voices. And obviously, they had to do something about it because they can't just leave these characters unvoiced. So they had to replace the old VAs with new VAs. And after the strike was suspended, lots of VAs were finally able to announce their roles. One of them was Kimberly Tierney, if I'm saying her last name right. She's the voice of the new character in ZZZ, Ukinami Yuzuha. Now, that's all fine and well, but what really sparked a lot of drama was her reply to someone who was praising her. What was the reply, you may ask? It's a gif of Yuzuha with a lesbian flag behind her.
This is where the fun begins.
Needless to say, this did not go well with half of the community. Some find it to be unprofessional, some are advocating to have her be replaced with AI, which is not a good idea. However, on the flip side, there are people who are defending her for that post, which is fine, but some of them are taking it a bit too far, calling people lolicons, pedophiles, even claiming that they're homophobic for calling this post out. There's a lot to unpack with these awful comments, so let me break it down for you all one by one. First, let's talk about the ones who are aggressively defending her. There's absolutely nothing pedophilic about people liking certain characters in Zenless Zone Zero that are very short. Characters like Coletta, Piper, Lucy, and even Fufu are short, petite adults. I think people seem to forget that short women exist. To add on to it, the whole lolicon argument is pretty weak. Lolly refers to a body type, not a character's age. Remember, the people at Studio Trigger refer to Rebecca as a lolly when working on Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and she is in her early 20s.
Because what happened was I was one of the people on the creative team to actually vote Rebecca out of the original cast during pre-production. Because what happened was that CD Projekt Red first got the character design for Rebecca, and they were like, she's a loli. Lolis don't exist in Night City. It doesn't fit the Cyberpunk 2077 aesthetic. But Trigger was like, no, the loli must stay. And ultimately, she's the best girl. So it was the right choice.
Hell, you can apply that to the character Hana Uzaki. She's a short, busty woman in her early 20s. Literally any female character in anime that's very short can be considered a lolly. So for people to throw those claims around so loosely is completely disingenuous. And lastly, calling people homophobic because of people criticizing the post is also disingenuous. I will include the VA's response soon because apparently she didn't know about it, but people who are loosely calling people incels and homophobic are part of the problem. I don't think anyone would have an issue if Yuzuha is confirmed to be a lesbian. The issue is that people would try to force their agendas onto others. It can not only get extremely annoying, but can also ruin people's enjoyment of the character they enjoy. Nothing's wrong with headcanons, but that's just it, headcanons. And Yuzuha being a lesbian is a headcanon, just like Evelyn and Astra being a couple is a headcanon. So it is problematic when people treat headcanons as them being canon to the story. It's also a problem when people try to force non-canon Yuris onto others. I don't have an issue with Yuri. In fact, I actually enjoy anime that's brimming with actual Yuri. Yes, even anime like gushing over magical girls. But people really need to learn not to shove their Yuri headcanons into other people's faces. Now on to the other side of the coin. I do think it's disrespectful to call for her to be fired or replaced with AI over this. She's just doing her job as the voice of Yuzuha, and I think she's doing a remarkable job. While there are some problematic voice actors and actresses in the industry, if you actually do the research on who's voicing who, you might find your favorite VA in either a video game, anime, or a cartoon. Plus, there are people who would watch anime and play video games in English. They would rather consume media in their respective language to make it easier on themselves. Not everyone wants to read subtitles, and that's not to say subtitles are bad. I think subs are good when you want to hear good Japanese voice acting, or if it's the only language in an anime or video game. But I don't agree with the claim that all English voice media is bad. Some can actually be good to hear. Plus, replacing VAs with AI would be a major red flag. I think having AI in video games in general is extremely bad, because it can be really harmful towards good voice actors and actresses. You know why I didn't like it in Fortnite, yet people don't see it as a big deal, which is a bit concerning. And finally, to put a nail in the coffin, I find it ridiculous to make so much noise and disrespectful comments over a small mistake. Now, she did end up responding to someone by saying it was an accident and that she doesn't have an opinion on Yuzuha's sexuality. So pretty much she had to clear up the misunderstanding, which I'm glad she did, because this was really getting out of hand. This should have never gotten this controversial in the first place. Personally, I don't think she had any ill intent in making that post, but I do think she should be a bit careful of what she posts next time. She's a voice actor and is the voice of Yuzuha, so of course people are going to take that post the wrong way, regardless of which side they're on. I mean, she could have been looking for good Yuzuha gifts, and that one was the best one she could find. And if that's the case, I don't think it warrants any backlash or hate. I personally don't care about Yuzuha's sexuality. Whether she's straight, lesbian, or bisexual, it doesn't matter to me, as long as she's cute, sassy, and enjoyable to play as.
I am going to remind you in advance that I am very sorry and I apologize for the inconvenience of me not giving a fuck what you think.
And to everyone else who participated in this drama aggressively, try to do better next time. Regardless of which side you're on, you're both making the community look bad. People who advocate for her to be replaced with AI are all in the wrong. And people who call other people pedophiles, homophobic, and try to shove their headcanons in their faces are also in the wrong. Be respectful and stop disrespecting each other. Hopefully this kind of thing doesn't happen again. I would like to know your thoughts in the comments down below. And also leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, as it also helps support the video. My apologies if it was short, but this wasn't anything too serious to the point where it had to be up to 12 minutes long. I'm gonna try and do more videos on Zenless Zone Zero, seeing as some of you actually liked my poker video, which will be in the top right corner if you're interested. My next ZZZ video should be out next week, which is centered on the summer event. So if you're into more ZZZ content from me, be sure to subscribe with notifications on. But until then, this is the Protagonist signing out. As always, Goki Genyo, and have a sartastic day, everyone.
Let's catch them off guard and beat their booties!
What do you mean by that?
If you enjoyed today's video, then be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn those notifications on to join the Star Nation. Also, be sure to follow my Twitter, and while you're at it, check out my previous video. Now.